This is modern homesteading. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about crosscut saws. No self-respecting woodsman.
It's just a tiny little center. Beautiful. The art of using and maintaining these old crosscut saws is diminishing quickly. It is dying with the people that grew up in the logging camps using these and working with these. There's one school left that I'm aware of in the United States, and that's in Missoula, Montana, at the 9 Mile Ranger Station, that actually still maintains a class that teaches men and women to use these saws, to file them and take care of them, and I'm going to be attending that class. It's coming up at the end of March, and I was lucky to get into it because it fills up very quickly. It's a week-long class, and so in preparation for that, I'm going to get my saws ready. So today we're going to talk a little bit about where to start with if you're going to restore one of these old saws, whether it be a two-man or a one-man, a little bit about them, the different types, what the shapes mean, and there's no reason why we can't get these all ready and in preparation for that class, because I don't know or have the knowledge to be able to properly set the rakers, sharpen the teeth. It's a very, very intricate and detailed process, and it needs to be done properly, or you can ruin or really shorten the life of a saw. So the first thing that we're going to do is obviously take off the handles and clean off the rust. We don't want to use any power tools when we're cleaning the rust off of these. You're going to be tempted to use a belt sander just because it's so efficient. But if you get over here and start messing with and grinding the tips of these off because they are set at a bit of an angle, you can destroy the saw. So the best way to do that is to do this by hand. And they're not making these anymore, so you really need to respect them and take care of them, because once they're gone, they'll never be here again. One of the essential tools that all of you guys should have is a good sharpening stone, whether it be a small pocket stone like the Lansky. Some people call these an axe stone. We have a smooth finish on one side and a coarse on the other. I have this bigger one that I tend to like a little bit better. It's about a 4-incher, and it's made by, I believe, the Norton company, and it's got a good red fine and then a coarse on here. What happens over time as you're sharpening is these stones get out of true. They get bevels or dimples in them. You know, kind of picture like a golf ball in there, and which really decreases its effectiveness. But there's a quick and easy way that you can resurface these stones yourself and use them almost indefinitely. If you take care of a stone like this, you should never have to buy another one. So what you need to do that is a piece of glass. It's nice to have a piece of glass that's cut and beveled on the edges, like this round piece. You can get these at flea markets, garage sales. They're usually made for the tops of little end tables. You can get it for free or a little bit of nothing. And then you need to get yourself some powdered silica carbide. It's just a really fine dust that's super, super hard. Sprinkle a little bit of the silica carbide on your glass surface, and of course the reason why we're using glass is because glass is perfectly flat. And then just a little bit of water in there, make kind of a slurry. I want you to watch this. Here's the coarse, or the fine version of this stone that I've used this a lot, and I've never resurfaced it. So we can go here. Make sure you use this in a radial motion. Now we can see here quite quickly the high spots are starting to come up here. The high spots are where this is not flat anymore. Here in the Lansky stone you can see a little bit. I'll show you right here. You can see where it's clean. What that tells me is it was high around the edges and low in the center. So I can simply work this on the carbide. It doesn't take long at all. You can see here. You see how that's gotten smaller there? There's just a tiny little center right there that's still low. So all those stones that have been thrown away with just a minute worth of work, you can see that's been completely resurfaced. Not only that, but we're working with a brand new clean stone, so it's no longer fouled with pitch or sap or pieces of metal from our axe heads. It's in like new condition. You know, Jack, we're really lucky to have this handle. I can see right there is a garage sale sticker. I remember Granddad tried to sell this at garage sales for years and years. And how lucky are we that no one ever bought it? So with the handles removed and on a very flat bench, as flat of surface as we can find, whether it be a bench or the ground, lay it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up, all the stuff off. What we're going to have on here is primarily going to be rust and pitch and sap. And so we're going to use the fine half of our stone. And the best thing that I have found to lubricate these stones with is kerosene or diesel. So these stones will soak it up really well. So get that soaking and then put the kerosene right on the blade pretty liberally. Now I always like to take a systematic approach to what I'm working on, either starting from front and working to the back, from back to front, from left to right. I'm going to start from left to right. Unless you're Hebrew, you can start from right to left, but I'm going to start from left to right. Taking my stone on the fine side, I'm going to start working it back and forth. Now I'm not going to use a circular motion because the saw is going to be used this direction, back and forth, back and forth. So these scratch marks or these polish marks are going to be kept in line. I don't want to crisscross them like this. If I go around and around and get the swirling action in there, that's going to cause more drag in the kerf of the saw. You know, I heard one time that when Howard Hughes was building racing aircrafts, he was so concerned about coefficiency and drag that he even had all of the screws that were that held the sheet metal in place turned in a horizontal an axis or forward to back axis so that the wind would not come across them and increase drag. You know, and so it's kind of like that. So start working this back and forth. One thing that's really important is to keep that stone off those teeth. These teeth are set at angles, and these rakers, they're set at angles like this. They come out, they cross, and we'll go into that later in another video, but we don't want to grind those off. Those will decrease the life of the saw. So we're going to keep the stone a good 3/4 to an inch off of those teeth. We'll polish those teeth another way in future videos, but for now we're going to work this stone back and forth. Using a large stone like this, what it's also going to do is it's really going to flatten out the surface. It's not going to take out all of the wows. If we have bends, we're going to check for that in future videos. I'll show you how to do that. But look how well that diesel acts as far as keeping the stone clean and keeping the material from clogging it up and fouling it. You can see right here we're starting to, we got a name here. The logo is starting to come through the rust there. I can see. I never saw that before. So this is really interesting here. Once I got through the rust, I can see a name on it. So it says we've got a number 53, and it looks like an E. Atkins, made in USA, patented temper, maybe Minneapolis. Oh, the more I go, the more it's going to disappear. Looks like I'll have to do some research on that. Number 53, E. Atkins and Company.